Hi everyone, this is the second video for, and this time we're going to talk about the word and picture sorting procedure that we do with our, with all of our students in the different developmental spelling stages, but we're going to focus on what we do in the letter name stage right now. And so you have a handout on Blackboard that will say picture and word sorting procedures. And this slide has some of the general ideas that's on that handout, but I really want you to read that handout carefully because that handout is really important to understanding the process that you will do or would do, depending on what happens with the semester, with a student in your classroom. You'll definitely do this when you're in TEDU 566, when you're doing your tutoring, one-on-one tutoring. So just to keep in mind, when we're in the letter name stage, we'll be using pictures and words in our sorts because when they're in the stage of spelling development, they are working both on the sound level and the pattern level. The sound level, we use picture sorting to have them focus on the sounds. And then we use the words because this is what they really need to work on, reading words quickly and accurately. And so word sorting helps them do that. And so I like to do picture sorting first and have them really focus on the sound of the word families or whatever pattern they're working on, because it also could be blends or digraphs in this stage. Or those preconsonant nasals, but I like to have them do picture sorting first and then to do word sorting. And so then with our sorting guidelines, first, we're gonna model the sort for them. We're actually going to, I'm gonna demonstrate in a minute how we model the sorting, but we're gonna model the sorting for a few pictures of words for each category first. It depends on how familiar the students are with sorting. In some of your practicum classrooms, your teachers are doing a lot of sorting, and some of you are in classrooms where they're not doing any sorting. And so if they're not very familiar with sorting, it might be a good idea to model sometimes the whole sort before they get an opportunity to sort. But we're going to use headers to be a guide and support for our students. In the letter name stage, the headers are going to have words and pictures in them, and you'll see an example in a minute. And then after sorting, it's important to also make sure that we check each category, and then we have the students verbalize what each category has in common. We want them to say, well, this category, they all have the short A sound, and then we have to prompt them, what sound does a short A make? And we want them to say the ah sound. And in the next category, all these words might have the short I sound, and then say, well, what sound does the short I make? And they'll say I. So we want to always be reinforcing those sounds of the short vowels. And so now I'm going to demonstrate what I would like for you to do, how this would look. So here we have an at and word sort, and these are our headers. As you can see, we have the word family on top, so at and then we have a picture to go with at, and our key word is cat. And then with and, our key word is can. And so we want to make sure that we are pointing out those pictures because those pictures will help be a guide for them. So the first picture we're going to sort is hat. And so what I'm going to do as the teacher is I'm going to model how to sort hat. So I'm going to compare hat to each of my headers. So hat cat, hat can, hat and cat have the same word family, so I'm going to put hat with cat. And here we have pan, pan cat, pan can, pan and can have the same word family, so I'm going to put pan with can. Then we have bat, bat hat, or bat cat, bat can, bat and cat have the same word family, so I'm going to put bat with cat. Then we have rat, rat cat, rat can, rat and cat have the same word family, so I'm going to put rat with cat. And then the last one is fan, fan cat, fan, can. Fan and can have the same word family. So I'm going to put fan with can. So now I'm going to go through and we're going to check them. Okay, so we have cat, hat, bat, rat. And then we would talk to the students about what do all those have in common. And they would say the at word family and what sound is in the at word family. And they would say at, and especially the short A. And then we would read through the and word family. So can, pan, and fan. And what do all these have in common? They all have the and word family. At, and is the word family. So then we can take away the pictures. And then we can sort the words. So here our first word is mat. So once again, we're going to do mat, cat, mat, can. Mat and cat have the same word family, so I'm going to put mat with cat. And then we have van. Van, cat, van, can. And van has the same word family as can, so I'm going to put van with can. And then we have fan. Fan, cat, fan, can. I'm going to put fan with can because they have the same word family. And then hat. Hat, cat, hat, can. Hat and cat have the same word family. So I'm going to put hat with cat. And once again, we would go through and check our work, and then we would check both of our categories and talk about the sounds. And that would be what we would do. Now, once we then have the students sort, after we've modeled it, then we would actually have them, if let's say when they're sorting, they sort hat and mat, but then they put pan with at. Now, they've already sorted a couple of them, so we think that they probably understand the idea. So maybe we don't jump in right away and have them correct themselves. We want to see if they can correct themselves. And so then they sort ran under can, and then sat under cat, and then man under can. We're running out of space here. But then when we go to check our work, this is when we hope that they're going to catch their mistake. So here we have cat, hat, mat, pan, sat. And usually when they're checking their work, they'll realize that pan should go under can. And so they'll make the correction. But if they don't, then we have to kind of elongate the sound. So cat, hat, mat, pan, and sat, and try to really go pan, sat, and see if they can hear the difference. And then they would probably make the change. And so we want to see if they can correct themselves. But if they make the mistake early on, if it's the first or second word they've sorted and they make the mistake, then we want to jump in and tell them what the word, give them the correct, or try to lead them to understand the correct sorting of that word. So one of the most important parts of doing this, the word study with the students, is having them write the words. And when they write the words, we would have them take the words after they sort them, and we would have them mix them up. And then in their word study notebook, we'd have them write the words into categories. So they could see the word while they're writing, but then they would be able to look at the word, but they would still be sorting because they were sorting it into the categories. And so a blind writing sort, though, is what we would probably do on maybe Thursday. So in a weekly schedule, on Monday, the teacher introduces a sort to the students, and then the students usually will go, will sort under this teacher's, observation, and then they will probably do a writing sort. And then on Tuesday, or they might do a writing sort when they go and back to their desks to do their station. They could do the writing sort at their desks when the teacher calls the next group to come and do their word study. On what Tuesday, it's good for them to, at their station, they can sort their words. They can then talk to their neighbor about their words, but then they can do another writing sort on Tuesday. On Wednesday, they would sort their words again, but this time, maybe they're going to play a game, and we're going to talk about what a word hunt is. They could do a word hunt. And then on Thursday, they could do a blind writing sort. And a blind writing sort is when the words are called out to them, mixed up, and they have to write the words in the correct category and spell them correctly. And this is how the teacher knows if they're ready to have a spelling test on Friday. And so, and in general, teachers do give a spelling test on Friday, and they might do it by group. I mean, they would do it by group, but they might have the students in the same group sitting together. So they call out the words to each group at the same time, but different teachers have different ways that they do this. But a blind writing sort is the way that we know if they're ready for the test on Friday, and is a way to know if they're ready to move on to the next feature, or if they might need more time, you know, after the blind writing sort and maybe the spelling test, they may need another week working on those words. So word hunts are when we have our students go back to texts that they've read and they hunt for words with the patterns they're working on. And so then they write those words in their word study notebook under headers. And so thinking about, we didn't get a lot of chance to look at pre-primer level decodable text before spring break, but thinking about the decodable text, I asked you to look for, you know, what kind of patterns do you see, like what phonics feature is being targeted. Some books it was short A, some was short E, some short I and O. It was just dependent on the book. But then that when you're working on those features, you can have them read those books, and they've already read them first maybe in their guided reading group, but then they're rereading them in their station, and then they are hunting for those patterns as part of their activity in the station. And then I'm going to show some different games, some word study games. There's one that's going to be that you have on Blackboard that is a bingo board or a wordo board. So you can have them play, put their words on a wordo board, which is like a 3x3 box, and they could call the words out to each other and then put little, you know, chips onto the wordo board or bingo board to see who can get get however many in a row first. And so so that's another thing, is to have them play games with the words they're working on each week. And so you're gonna practice doing that. We're gonna look at some examples on some videos this week. So I'm going to stop there for this segment, and then we're going to move into talking about the developmental spelling analysis.